is I'm going to say no. Let's go ahead and scry. Path doesn't do it. Bottom. Verdict doesn't do it. But maybe you need to cast a Verdict, right? Yeah. Maybe you need to cast Verdict here. That's fine. Maybe you need to blow up some creatures. If you load the flip card with bod, you get hit twice. This conductive. That sounds brutal. Drew a Pyro? Okay. I mean, normally I would have suspended both of these, but I want to see if we draw the other piece. Maybe you need a Pyroclasm here. I don't know. Depends on your matchup. Maybe you needed a Mana Leak there. Oh, I did mean to put a charge counter on the brain there. Suspend another one. It is a little disorienting if you do solitaire mode, because there is no opponent. Alright, and that's what we were missing. Okay. We could also do it with the Cryptic though, right? I mean, we need to get this brain back down to 0 charge counters, but either the core or the Cryptic command to do. So maybe like tick this guy down. Maybe you tick him down so you can pull off the brain Ancestral. Say okay. It's a Cascade, not that interested. Bottom. Maybe you like electrolyze something. Maybe there's something juicy over there to electrolyze. Who knows? Drew a Scalding Tarn. Yeah, maybe you do the old... Just kidding, I don't want to do that. The old Ambush Viper. So yeah, we have a couple ways we could do it here, right? We could either use the Phyrexius Core to cast the Ancestral off the brain. Somebody earlier was saying they'd love to see me do like a Cryptic brain Ancestral, so let's try that. So what would that look like? That would look like you put the brain ability on the stack, and then in response, let's go ahead and crack this Scalding Tarn. So in response, you'd Cryptic, return a permanent, draw a card. So you'd return the brain while it still had 0. Okay. And then now it says, hey, cast this Ancestral, cast target myself. But now we get to demonstrate that this is busted, unfortunately. But at this point, what have we established? We've established Thopter Sword. So in theory, you wouldn't necessarily need to blow up all the lands. Which is nice. Got 8 cards in hand, why don't we go ahead and suspend another Ancestral? Unless you want to give up this brain to cast this Ancestral, that's up to you. It's technically faster. We could just bin a Plains, or bin a path. I mean, we would have technically probably already spent that path on something. I did mean to make a couple Thopters there. Does this have another target? I think there was one more land left. I think there was another land left. Actually, I don't think so. Hang on, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's one land left. Okay. So we'll redeploy brain. What's nice is in response to like removal, just crack it to the core, draw cards with the vision. But let's try to set up this boom bust, and I can show to you that it's not working properly on Magic Online. And of course, you would like, you know, make an army of Thopters in the end step and do all these things that the deck wants to do game 1. Say yes, and you make a bunch of Thopters. You keep doing that. You just make a whole bunch. No, I wasn't going to run a Crucible. I was just going to maybe sandbag some lands. It was kind of my thought process and what I've been doing. Wombologist, you're not crazy though, like a Crucible? Yeah, another Hallowed Fountain. Oh, did I have the second Fountain? That's probably correct. I wasn't running 2 Fountain for a little bit there. When did that happen? That's new. Okay, good. Yeah, because in paper I've been testing triple... You know what? No wonder we had trouble keying. I was only running 1 Fountain now. Huh. I was having trouble keying. And angering. No wonder I was. I'm actually running a 3-2 split on my shocks. See? 1 fountain, 1 foundry, 3 vents, 1 cascade. Yeah, no wonder we were having trouble casting the Kiki tonight. I mean, we still pulled it off, but like, yeah, I'm testing in paper. I'm testing 3 vents. Okay. Maybe this is an older version then. It looks really similar though. Huh. Okay. Yeah, those are the shocks I was going with. 5 shock. Whole bunch of basics. Farskov, thanks for the follow, Arena. Welcome to the BSMG. I feel like anytime you're going to play Kiki and Cryptic in the same deck, you really want to, or Anger of the Gods for that matter, you definitely want to consider the bluffs. Okay. Nope. So you would charge up the brain. Maybe you like snap, I don't know, Helix or something, like maybe you need to. Yeah, maybe you do. I don't know. It depends on the board state. Maybe you need to do something like that. Obviously, it's much juicier to like do like a snap cryptic play, but yeah, maybe this is what you need to do. Maybe you need to do this instead. Depends. Now, if my plan from the start was to boom bust, though, you'd kind of want to sandbag some lands, but you'll see it doesn't do what we want it to do. Just watch. See? Actually, now it doesn't even let us cast the boom bust at all. See? I mean, it lets us do bet call fusion, but it doesn't even let me cast the boom bust for some reason on Magic Online. It used to let us cast the boom side at least. Now it's not even letting me do that. So we can't unfortunately test the land destruction variant that I'd like to. But we can do this, so you just fuse this. Draw a whole bunch. Yes, yield. And if you like flash in a Snapcaster Mage here, you draw more cards. Wonderful. If you want to. Depends on if you want to draw 5. It's all up to you. If your opponent plays creatures, because of the way that Beck is worded, you actually draw even more cards. So why don't we flashback this and draw even more cards and just draw all the cards, and then, you know, after you're done drawing all the cards in the deck, you know, what have you accomplished? Your cast call. Like, what have you accomplished? Not all that much. Maybe do that. And we're going to draw even more cards. And then there's only a couple cards left in the deck. The ability to draw a whole lot of cards. And then maybe you just, like, draw even more cards. Maybe you just want to, like, you know, make some... Maybe you just, like, make some Thopters. That also makes more dudes. And you draw some more cards. And, yeah, I mean, that has synergy. And you draw some more. Why can't you cast the boom, miss the explanation? It's just broken on Magic Online. You can't. You actually physically can't. Like, you physically... We'll draw another card. You physically can't. I can't cast the boom bust off brain just the way that the programming's set up on Magic Online. Jim says, but what have you accomplished? Oh, what happens in matches I've tried to cast it, it just doesn't. You can't do the boom side. This goes for all split cards. The bust side just doesn't work. But yes, you do need to have a target land you don't control, but that's not the point. The point is the bust just doesn't work on Magic Online off of a brain for whatever reason. And I've tested and tried to do it myself multiple times. It just doesn't. Yes. For whatever reason. And I don't know if they're going to fix that programming, because they'd be like, wait a minute. You want to what? You want to boom bust your opponents? It's like, yeah. They're like, well, we don't like land destruction. I don't know. I don't know if Wizards would fix it. That's how it works in paper. Anyways. Conductor says it's really sad that they somehow implemented split cards differently for Fuse. Well, it's funny that the Fusion works properly. The Beck calls... All the fusion cards that I've tested with Brain on Magic Online, they work perfectly. Yes, you can make an army of birds if you want to. But no, it's like, this works perfectly. Like all the other split cards I messed with, specifically the non-fusion split cards, just don't work with it for whatever reason. Well, the problem with Crumble, here's the problem with Crumble, Overmaster, is it's going to be a sideboard card. And you can devote a whole bunch... You can devote a whole bunch of your sideboard to try to fight Tron, but at the end of the day, I just found it's not really worth it. I'd rather just combo them. Now, if you're trying to combo them, you need to run more Angels and more Kikis, you know? You need to run either the playset, you need to either run like a 3-2 split, or you need to run a 4-3 split, or more, you know? Maybe you just get away from the Nahiri and the Jace entirely and just run even more. You know, you could do that too. Like, you could literally just, instead of running anything like Karanos and Jace and Nahiri, just try this. I mean, this might even work better. I've thought about it. I have, you know? We certainly have enough Kikis, I think, to maybe test that. No, we don't. No, I don't. I have three. Yep, that's all I can test, is a 3-2 split, but that's okay. But maybe in paper you actually want the 4-3 split. No, you can't cast both sides, Juice, and I realize that. You never can, but what's interesting about Brain, let me show you. It's Ask a Magic. Hang on, let's see. Brain Ancestral. Let me find it again. Okay, here you go. So, you don't have to believe me or my mods, but certainly AskAMagicJudge.com is reputable. Anyway, so let's see. So, Brain, not just a half matching the CMC. For example, if the second counter is put onto Brain, its ability resolves. You can choose to cast Boom Bust from your hand without paying for its mana cost. If you do, you can cast either side of Boom Bust. It doesn't work like that on Magic Online, but in paper it does. Since the ability of Brain Ajar only cares about the card's CMC matches the number of counters, Boom Bust does indeed have a CMC of 2, while also having a CMC of 6. If you cast Bust, the fact that it doesn't have a CMC of 2 doesn't matter, since Brain Jar no longer cares about converted mana cost at that point. And then, of course, you can do fusion cards, too. Anyways. But yeah, you can read this ruling if you want. It's unfortunate that doesn't work the way that it does in paper, because I would certainly be testing the whole blow up all their lands thing on Magic Online. But we can't. That's what we're going to run there instead. I mean, yeah, I could just, like, main deck a Misers, you know, that doesn't make any sense. Not 100% sure if we can only cast one half of the Brain for fusion. No, you can. No, you fuse, you do both sides. Nope, you can fuse on Moto and fuse in paper. Yep. On Boom Bust, you can only cast one side. Yeah, you can. Yeah, Boom Bust, you only get one side of it. But honestly, like, one side's all you need. One side should be all that you need. You know, one side should be all that you need. You should only need to Armageddon once. We could run like a Misers. Instead of this, we could run like somebody wanted me to test a main deck Ajani. We could do that too. That takes a really long time to blow up your opponent's lands, comparatively. It takes a little bit too long, I think, for it to matter, but yeah, I mean, that's an option. 4 mana, suspend 2 Emrakul's. Ooh. I might need to reboot. There you go. Yeah, you could like main deck in a Johnny. I don't know. I mean, it depends on what you want to do. I like a Johnny. If you only cast one half of a fuse card, there's no reason why you can't cast one half of a non-fuse spell. I got you, Conductive. I appreciate you elaborating. You are appreciated. Max says, I foresee many judge calls if he plays at the GP. I was actually thinking of printing this out. I kid you not. I'm legit just thinking of just printing this out, this little blurb here, because I was thinking of doing both of these at the GP. Yeah, I'd probably just print this out. I'm like, yeah, if you don't believe me,